It's Two on the Aisle with me, Charles Gross, and Leslie Hoban Blake. Tonight, reviews of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Parts 1 and 2, Miss You Like Hell, St. Joan, and this year's Tony Award nominations with the Drama Desk. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Two on the Aisle.
Hi, Charlie.
Hello, Leslie.
So here we are on the brink of the Drama Desk Awards and the Tony
Yes,
Awards. We'll
yes.
talk about those
Very
after we get to the
exciting.
play. You are going to talk about the most exciting play on Broadway. Two plays.
The most exciting two plays on Broadway.
Well, there's another set of two plays, so maybe...
Well, let's see. There are two plays this year. Both productions originated in England. Both are two full plays. And both of the first plays end with these beings that are not human floating around on stage.
Well, who would have thunk?
Yeah.
But one's a revival and one's not. So
That's true.
this
Well,
is the
an
original.
This is
right.
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And if you don't know who Harry Potter is, just fast forward because
There's no point.
There's no point.
But this is Harry Potter grown up. Go ahead.
This is Harry Potter grown up. This is basically starts at the end of book 7 and then goes a few years later, focusing on Harry's son Albus and of all kids, Draco Malfoy's Scorpius and the adventures that they have at Hogwarts. Now, let me give you an idea of my first impression when I read the play. They released it in book form and they had a Harry Potter party, and we all went because my family grew up on Harry Potter. We used to sit around the dinner table doing Harry Potter trivia. We know the books back and forth. We go on trips with the Jim Dale recordings. All our Harry Potter books are like tattered, several, copies of them. This one is brand new because we all read it, and we say, well, this doesn't really feel like Harry Potter.
When you read the book, did it feel like two plays?
No. Well, not
really two separate plays?
No, it really feels to me like it's one play, which it is. And you could say the same about Angels in America, but like the Harry Potter books, Angels came
in terms of
apart.
length, you couldn't because Angels is like 7.5 hours, and this is
Harry
only
Potter,
5. This is only 5 and change. So
all right, well that's
anyway,
still
go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
a good
Go
length. And so here are the questions that I have. So they go to Hogwarts together, and Harry's son is sorted into Slytherin, and. Okay, and that raises the red flag right there. What's he doing in Slytherin? He doesn't act like a Slytherin. In fact, much of the plot revolves around him and Scorpius, who become close friends. That I can deal with. That's going back in time.
The sins of the father, they do not necessarily.
To save Cedric Diggory, who died in the 4th book. And, you would think that we know about time travels, and they would know about time and how bad it is, because they end up causing quite a few problems.
Well, they go back in time. You didn't say that.
They go back in time, and they mess things up pretty badly. And it ultimately takes Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and Draco to come to the rescue.
Well, and then this play, Hermione is played by a black woman, which is really interesting because, anybody who read the books anyone who saw the movies, she could be any color whatsoever, but she wasn't, it was an interesting choice.
Well, you have the cast that really has to go up against people like Maggie Smith in the movies, and they have a hard time living up to it, with the exception of...
Anthony Boyle as Scorpius?
Well, Anthony Boyle he's a totally new character, so he doesn't have to go up against anybody. But I was going to
Cerberus,
and I will get back. I will get back to the woman who played Moaning Myrtle, Lauren Nicole. I hope I get this right. Cipoletti. She has one very quick scene, but it's outstanding. That was one of my favorite parts of the play. But the other part is Harry and Hermione and Ron, mostly Harry, facing a midlife crisis. Harry is now head of the Aura department. That means he's the head in law enforcement. And he does things that I just wouldn't associate with Harry Potter, such as threatening Professor McGonagall in order to keep his son and Draco's son apart. And again, it just doesn't feel very Potterish until the latter part of the second act, where they're all back in action, fighting Lord Voldemort's daughter and preventing Voldemort's resurrection.
Well, that's interesting, too. That Voldemort has a daughter is interesting.
Yes. And even that part I can see. But like one scene, there's a Draco and Harry duel. and Draco almost gets the better of him, or practically does. And you think, wait a minute, Harry's the head of, he's been in law enforcement, he's been fighting dark wizards all his life, and Draco was getting the best of him. Again, that there's a certain false.
Oh, you're way beyond me. I wouldn't have known that. I dipped in and out of the movies. I dipped in and out of the Jim Dale books. I used to buy them for my niece. I didn't really.
Right.
And I saw Puffs.
Now it is nice. That said, I did find it entertaining. Again, they have special effects. You could see how far flying has become since Mary Morton. Certainly.
Well, you can see how far it's come since Spider-Man. Okay. I think the effects are better than Spider-Man, which tried to do some of the same stuff into the audience. This was much cleaner, and nobody fell.
The audience. They didn't come into the audience, but they do.
They do. The characters at the end of Act 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do come into the audience.
Just a bit.
Well, but they do.
And does it overwhelm the play? Not really.
No, it's all.
But
well, the play is basically an empty stage, and then it builds itself. It becomes the station. It becomes
by magic.
It becomes Hogwarts. It becomes the places they go in the past, and it's interesting. I dipped in and out of this just the way. By the way, as far as I'm concerned, are you only talking about part 1, or you're talking about the whole?
Well, I'm talking about the whole. Again, part 2, I think, really gets better because we see Harry and Hermione and Ron back in their old roles as we remember them, and kind of reminding us what they're all about.
Given the expense of seeing 2 parts of this show, I would really say, and I said the same thing for Angels, but for different reasons, I would really say that part 2 would be the one to see. Because just like a soap opera, they recap everything in the first 5 minutes, and you're right in, and you know exactly who everybody is and what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the second part better too. I thought it was better. I just thought it was maybe it was more satisfying.
The first part they're going year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. They
Yes. Well, that's okay. You know.
But without really without the character development that the books have.
Yes.
The characters simply
There's no way they could.
as interesting.
There's no way they could.
But they could have done even in the movies they managed.
By the way, this is so funny because
they can't go into the same detail.
This one says Harry Potter Part 1.
Yes.
And this one says Harry Potter Part 2. Yes. But they're exactly the same inside.
You get 2 playbills. For
playbills.
your money.
That's
and
why
there's
you're
a really
spending all
nice
that
souvenir
money.
store there too.
Oh God, which will really
I got
you.
this one actually at Universal's Harry Potter.
Oh, is that a Hogwarts
this is a
tie?
Gryffindor tie.
I did not know that. See,
Yes.
how subtle of you not to tell me. Okay, so what would you give it?
3.5.
Really? Wow. See, for the creation and for the parts I didn't know that I really liked, and for Byron Jennings coming out and playing Severus Snape.
Severus.
He was
Severus.
Severus? Okay, as Hermione. Severus and Hermione. Okay. Anyway, because I love to see Byron Jennings, and I didn't know anybody else in the cast. He's the only person I recognized. So I would say, you said 3.5. I'd give it 4.
Really?
For the stuff, for all the...
It's interesting because we saw 2 plays that I was familiar with the source material, and you weren't, and you liked them both better than I did. This and SpongeBob.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. All right.
And I have to say, this has been a big hit in London.
Yeah.
And my daughter and I ran into some mother and her
biggest
daughter.
It's the only thing
seen it.
It's as big as Hamilton.
Seen it, and people are enjoying it.
Yeah, well, not only that though, it's the same kind of scalping tickets, the same way with Hamilton.
Yes.
It's
going to run forever.
Okay, I just don't see people going to 2 plays here and spending that kind of money. I don't know what it costs in London, but it's so expensive.
A lot less.
Do you know what the total cost of that double musical is? $68 million. Parts 1 and 2.
Well, it's not a musical.
68.
This is a play.
I'm sorry, you're right, but it's $68 million.
Yeah.
There's never been a play.
That's a lot of galleons.
You could do 2 movies for that much money, you know. I mean,
but they wouldn't be Harry Potter movies.
Well, they wouldn't be Harry Potter movies, but okay. So I'm going to do a little play, which actually seemed to me to be more than it. Rather than a play, it seemed to be more like an encore's presentation.
Well, this was a musical.
Yes, but Miss You Like Hell is an original musical, and it's by, I'm going to get this right if it kills me, Tony and Pulitzer Prize winning playwright Chiara Alegria Hudes, who happened to, we mentioned Hamilton, she happened to write the book for In the Heights, which is what she won her Tony for. And the director of the play, this is a very
Well,
female-centric.
don't forget the composer.
I'm not going to, but I just wanted to say this is a very female-centric play, and then I'm going to move on to saying that the composer is also a woman. I don't know her work, but she's obviously very renowned. Her name is McKeon. I'll find her. Erin McKeon.
Right.
And it's directed by Lear de Bessonnet. Lear de Bessonnet is the official, the in-house resident director at the Public. What disturbed me, what made me feel, because I had just come from Harry Potter, and then I went downtown to see this small, it's basically it has a few projections in the back because they take a trip across the country, and I'm jumping ahead here, but it's small. It reminds me of an encores presentation. There's an ensemble of 8 and 2 leading actors. The 2 leading actors are our dear old friend, and I'm going to forget how to say her name. Help me here. Daphne Rubin Vega. Thank you. Yes. And the young woman who's brand new to me, Jimenez, first name
Giselle.
Giselle. I have all this written here. I just can't read. I'm going to put the glasses on. I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. Look, it's all there. Anyway. They're lovely. They were nominated for Drama Desk Awards, which also gets the off-Broadway people. And all of this is the female-centric part of this production. But then we get to, there are a bunch of guys. The set design, the choreographer.
Do you want to tell what the play is about?
Well, the play is about an immigrant mother, Latina, who is an illegal, and she is the migra has come, and they want her. And she was picked up. They're getting her on. They've extended her and extended her and extended her, and she's got a couple of old marijuana busts. That's what this is about. And they want to put her in jail. And they want to send her. They want to deport her. They want to deport her.
She's on her way to trial, and she wants to bring her daughter. And she and the daughter are estranged.
They've been estranged for a very long time,
yes.
And the daughter doesn't want any part of her.
Right.
And she doesn't tell her why she needs her. She gets her to come on a cross-country trip with her. Basically throws her in her truck and takes her across the country. Right. And that's where the play goes wrong for me.
They end up losing the truck.
But that's where the play goes wrong for me. And what happens is they start to meet all the different people in America that make up the American family, and that got me kind of like, even if they're cute, even if it's Michael Mulhern is a really tall guy and David Patrick Kelly is a really short guy, and they're a couple of gay bears, and they marry them. I mean, as in gay marriage them. It got to be too cute. All the people in the back, the 8 people in the ensemble, come forward and play different characters, and they all sing the songs. And the songs they're nice, but they're not memorable.
Right.
They're well performed. I must say that I've never, in the last couple of years, I have not heard Daphne Rubin Vega better than I've heard her in this.
Really, I was lukewarm to Vega. I liked her performance.
Okay.
I didn't think it was a great role. I have to note that. This character must have some spiritual connection to Mimi in Rent, because they're both very proud of their butts, as she mentions on several occasions.
Okay.
The breakout here, though, was Giselle Jimenez as Olivia, as the daughter, and every time she started to sing, she really bowled me over, and
right.
I really think, and I think she outshined her stage mother here.
Well, both of them were nominated, which effectively, in the Drama Desk Awards,
right.
Effectively is going to probably hurt most of their chances.
No, we'll see.
But it is interesting because...
And I agree with you. It's not... I didn't find the plot very interesting. I found the twists... Oh, okay, we're going to do that now?
Yeah, it was... And the basic... I mean, if you wanted the story in like one sentence, it would be crossing America to find your family, not of birth, but of choice. That's what it's about. We choose these people. They're not our birth people. No, they're not our birth parents, or they're not our birth brothers and sisters.
Now you totally lost me.
I don't understand how I could have lost you. They are not our... We choose our family. We don't have to live with the family we're born into. And they choose all these people along the way to be with. I thought that was clear, but okay.
Well, because it's a birth mother trying to reunite.
Yes, but that's one of the lessons that the daughter learns along the way. It's the most simple lesson.
We learned something here?
Well, I just wanted to say really quickly, Hudes, who is a very serious writer, took on a very important. It's very topical. It's today's Trump America. It's gay marriage.
I was waiting for
no,
that.
well, yeah, but it is because that's exactly what it's
yes.
about. It's about
Well,
immigration and it's
yes.
about gay marriage, which may or may not be. When it's going to get to the Supreme Court, who knows what they're going to do to it?
They've already approved it.
No. It's going to go back. Believe me, before he's out of there, it's going to go back again. Anyway,
it's already
so
been to the Supreme
point
Court.
is that Hudas was
They said
trying.
yes.
Hudas was trying to go to a very important place. And I think she missed the mark by bringing in all the other stuff. So she has musical comedy parts and melodramatic parts, and they don't mesh. They go like this instead of meshing. So as much as I enjoyed the talent, I would give it 3.5 for the play. I give it 4.5 for the. No, I take that back. I give it 3 for the play and 4 for the talent.
I would have to give it, I think, 2.5 or 3
Okay.
for the entire package. Again, I like Daphne Rubin Vega. She was all right in this. But again, Giselle Jimenez, I want to see. I want to see the next show that she's in.
Okay, well, good. That's
Okay, and now our next play, St. Joan, George Bernard Shaw, one of my favorite authors. And my suggestion is, this is Condola Rashad as St. Joan. I would say see the first scene with her, also featuring Patrick Page as the Duke who gives her start. The second scene, and then you can pretty much go and just come back to the last scene after she's been burned.
Oh God!
And watch her become a saint.
Here's
That's all I'm getting.
We had this with David Byrne version with that wonderful actress. Remember the punk rock musical?
Well, that was better.
It was better, and that wasn't very good, but it was better.
Yes.
And that girl was magnificent. The problem for me is, and all of everything in this went into the set, which is a bunch of pipes hanging down. They were organ pipes. I don't know.
Well, they don't move very much.
They don't do anything.
The whole play is this is directed by Daniel Sullivan, and they basically just sit in chairs and talk.
Right.
So there's not much action here, and it's the performances, except for the aforementioned, really aren't that great.
No, I disagree with you there. It's filled with wonderful character actors. It's filled with some of the best.
But are they giving great performances?
Yes, they are.
No.
But they're giving individual performances. Nothing is of a piece. Nothing pulls it together.
I mean,
it's Patrick Page is marvelous, half naked, and doing his with his wonderful voice.
He was excellent.
And Jack Davenport is fantastic. He's the only real Brit in it, I think.
And John Glover was good.
And John Glover is good as the Inquisitor, and Walter Bobby is the Cardinal.
He should. If he was going to come back to act, he's been working as a director and a very successful one. I think he could have done better.
And as I say, Daniel Sunjata was in
neither a great role nor a great performance.
But just some of the best, most hardworking veteran actors in New York in this one play.
And they still couldn't save it.
And it still couldn't save it.
And what about Rashad? Did you like?
No, I'm sorry, I did not. It was I felt as if there was a hole on stage wherever she was.
Really?
I didn't get any sense of the fire of the girl. I didn't get any sense of the innocence of the girl. I got an acting class.
Definitely the innocence, the enthusiasm.
No, I got an acting class performance of these monologues. That's what I got. I was so sad. I was so excited when I saw that she was cast.
That's not so far off.
That's what I saw, and it broke my heart because she's been nominated so many times. At some point, she's got to find a role that's going to win her, a Tony. And I thought this was the one. I really did. It just didn't make it for me. She didn't land it, and I feel terrible for her. And I mean, look at this. It's like the one girl and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 guys. It's sort of written in that she should shine. And then, of course, this is Shaw. So there's that wonderful last scene, which brings us to 1923.
Yes.
There's a timeline in here that takes us from the actual time of the play, the journey of St. Joan.
Well, the interesting thing, she in that scene, she is reunited, in the hereafter.
Right, with
some
the
of them are still alive,
Dauphin
some of them
and
are
Charlie.
dreaming. So it's actually, she must be in some sort of time
Nobody's
warp.
still alive.
Yes.
No, none of them. No, they're not alive. It's a dream.
They are alive.
It's a dream.
Well, they're saying they're dreaming, but they're still, one of them, I'm in bed, I'm going to wake up
I
shortly.
can't reach it. No, because the final scene takes place in 1923.
Well,
they're not alive. Okay, read what it says.
Yeah.
He wrote the play at that point. It's 1456. It's also 19. Oh, I see what the play. Okay.
But
My
the
fault.
characters
Yeah.
appear
I
in that
see,
scene,
yes.
and they
Okay.
say, "I'm in my bed."
Yes, Charlie says that.
No,
Go-
I don't
Bonnie
say that.
Prince
The
Charlie,
play
yes.
says that.
No,
Oh, yes. All right.
that's his name.
Okay, yes.
You're not the only
The
one.
the French king.
The
who
Dauphin,
Joan-
who
Joan
becomes
crowned.
the king, yes.
Anyway, but
Anyway,
all in
I...
all, do we bother to tell her story? I guess not.
Which story? What story?
Well, what Joan did.
Oh, please. She got burned. That's what she did. She won. She felt she was called by God. She went and managed to get an army and saved France and
Got
the
the
English.
got King Charles crowned.
That's right. And her payment was she was
Burned as a
hogtied
heretic.
and whipped and beaten
Burned as a
and
heretic.
raped and oh God.
All right.
And then canonized. I
But
hate
they
the whole
did
thing.
make her a saint.
Yep.
And what shall we give Saint Joan?
Oh, yeah. This is Shaw, man.
I
This should have been the one.
know, it should have
2.5.
Yeah. I hate to say it. Sorry, George.
Sorry, Joan.
Yeah,
You deserve better.
indeed.
We're gonna talk Tonys.
We're going to talk Tonys.
Okay, let's. We have paperwork on
We have
Tonys.
paper
Okay.
here. So let's talk about the Tonys and the Drama Desk
Okay.
Awards.
So the Tonys give for best, and the Drama Desk gives for outstanding.
Right.
It started in the very
What's the
beginning.
difference?
Well, the difference is that nobody is the best according to this.
I see.
But outstanding work can be done.
Okay.
And that's the logic of it, and
All
that
right,
was how
well,
it was started.
Let's
okay.
see. Let's talk about the shows that were nominated.
Okay. Best musical nominations.
Band's Visit, Frozen, Mean Girls, SpongeBob.
Right.
Mean Girls and SpongeBob were also nominated by the Drama Desk. Band's Visit is not eligible because it was off
Right.
Broadway last year. Now, I just have to point out, sometimes it's interesting to see who wasn't nominated.
Right.
And you know who wasn't nominated for Best Musical?
Margaritaville.
Margaritaville. And do you know why?
Because Jesse Green didn't like it.
Because there is a definite bigotry against mindless musicals.
Mindless
In fact,
musicals,
there is
right.
a quota. This is true.
Oh,
There is
and
they will
SpongeBob filled it.
only- They will
And
only
SpongeBob
nominate
filled
one mindless musical with an exploding volcano per season,
Right,
and this
and
year it was SpongeBob.
But I
Who
will say,
who
I will
win?
say, well,
Who-
I
who
know who
should
I
win?
want to win. The Play of My Heart is nominated, and it's The Band's Visit. And you know how much I love that play. I loved it off Broadway. I love it on Broadway. And it would thrill me no end to see that play win.
I think that is the play that will win. You're not the only one who feels that way. I like neither the Broadway or the off-Broadway
But
production.
of what's there, what would you vote
Of
for?
what's here, I would go with Frozen.
Ah.
Mean Girls might be a close second.
See, I would take Mean Girls over Frozen. I mean, Frozen was fine, but Mean Girls was at least fun.
Right,
You know.
but Frozen. Here's the question: do you count? How do you count the score? Do you count only the new songs, or do you count the old ones?
I don't
Two.
know the difference.
well,
the only song I knew was Let It Go.
it has a great score. A lot of those songs are from the movie. Some of them are
Okay.
original.
I wouldn't
but
know.
it has a
I
really
never-
good story.
I-
Mean Girls has the better book.
Pride myself on. We did see the Mean Girls movie, but I
Yes.
pride myself on never having seen Frozen.
And
So you would give it
well,
to
I
two.
certainly like the play better than the movie.
We're not gonna get
But
through
moving
too
on,
many
yes.
reviews.
All right, best play.
Yeah, The Children is on there. We didn't see it, so we're not going to. But of what's
Farinelli
left,
and the King, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Junk, Latin History for Morons.
which I don't understand because it's a monologue. It's not a play.
It's
It's a solo performance. It's not a play.
People like John Leguizamo. I think
Okay,
that's what it
if
comes
they
down
like
to.
John Leguizamo, they like John Leguizamo. But this was the least good of his plays, of his pieces that he does.
well, that's-
What would you give it to?
It's a hard question. I'm leaning toward Farinelli. I might consider Harry Potter, even though I wasn't crazy about it. I'm not. This isn't a great choice. You know who I want to get it? There were two off-Broadway plays, both nominated for the Drama Disc. One was Admissions, and one was Mary Jane. I would choose either of them over anything here.
In terms of being a good play, but I like Junk. I really like Junk. I love plays with substance, and it had a great. You could chew on it.
Yes.
It was chewy. I
I think
really
Other
love
People's
that.
Money did it a little better.
Be that as it may, I would give it to Junk.
Okay.
And you would give it to what? That's on there. You
Oh.
were talking about what isn't on there.
Oh, I don't even know. I might just give it to Harry Potter.
Okay.
I liked Farinelli, but that was the performances more
It
than
was.
the play.
It really was. She's not a playwright.
And for all its plot, and for who?
His wife, who wrote it, is
okay.
really a composer.
And
She's-
Harry Potter, again, it has a lot of flaws, but of those choices, that would have to be
Okay, so
mine.
now we're up to best revival of a musical. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Carousel, My Fair Lady, Once on This Island.
All three?
All were nominated by the Drama Desk.
Right.
My Fair Lady, no question.
No question. We don't even have to discuss it. Okay.
Best revival of a play. Ooh. Angels in America, Lobby Hero, Three Tall Women, Iceman Cometh, Travesties. I have not seen Travesties yet.
And I haven't seen Lobby. I haven't seen Iceman yet. But Drama Desk also nominated Angels,
yes.
Three Tall Women, and Travesties.
I was disappointed with Three Tall Women.
No.
To me, again, I have to see Travesties before I can make the final choice. But as of now, I would say Angels, no question.
I loved Travesties. Okay. I will give it to Travesties. I didn't like it the first time I saw it. This was so clear. It's a difficult play, and if you don't know what's going on, you're going to be lost, because it's a revolution, and it's Oscar Wilde and Cecily.
I will see this by the
time
this goes into post-production. This show, I will see it. So our friend who does the graphics, he's going to say if my choice has changed.
Okay, all right, fine. So now we're up to Best Leading Actress in a Play.
Hey.
And here again, there was a choice here that I don't understand. Okay. We have Glenda Jackson,
right,
which also was nominated by the Drama Desk. We have Condola Rashad in St. Joan, and yes, she deserves a nomination, but we have Lauren Ridloff in Children of a Lesser God. She's a deaf actress or a non-hearing actress, but the play is closing. The play has not been able to continue.
Attract an audience.
It hasn't been able.
Which is a shame, because I haven't seen this production. I was hoping to.
I know.
I saw the original, and it was amazing.
And it was amazing then. But everyone says it's been dated, and we didn't see it. So, and Amy Schumer in Meteor Shower. I love Amy Schumer, but it was Laura Benanti in that play who made an impression. Amy Schumer did a good job for someone who's never been. It was woman-wise. There are only 2 women in the play. This is actress. So
but in who was it? Uma Thurman.
No, but I'm not talking about Meteor Shower.
I know
specifically. I'm saying there was nothing that she did that was outstanding in any way. She did a competent job for a first time on Broadway, and it was not an academy. So you're saying it should have been Uma Thurman. I would have said Uma Thurman over her in a heartbeat.
Yes, because she carried the play. I thought Meteor Shower was the better play than the one that Uma Thurman did, the political.
Yes. It was interesting
again,
for a
my
while,
opinion. But Uma carried the show. Amy, love to see you back, but she did not.
Amy.
Yes, okay. Very good.
So who would you give it to of who's there? I would give it to Glenda Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, given that, it's kind of a no contest.
Given what we've got here.
Yes, it's kind of a no contest.
Glenda Jackson, yes.
Okay. So I think we have no more time.
Okay, I think
to do any more.
No,
according to that clock. So
I guess we don't.
I guess we got that far. Maybe we'll finish this up on the next show.
Maybe we will.
Okay.
In the meantime, when you go to the theater, look for Leslie and me, us too.
On the aisle. Weary, but on the aisle.